Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my what is it? Oh, review. Yes, that's right. I was about to go to my predictions. No, we're not doing predictions, and I'm gonna have to thread the needle again tomorrow because I made a review video, and the recording has it literally just like died. I don't know. I was being lazy. I recorded it the same day I recorded a different video. I was like, man, I'm on top of my shit. And then I just proceeded to like not do it. And then I was trying to fucking edit it. And the fucking video just shit the bed. It just like dies. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just have to do it tonight and thread the needle again because that's what I do. But we're here with this week 3 review. So let's get straight into this thing and like and subscribe, and comment. Always helps. Let's go. So Dolphins at Bills. Wow, this game feels like an eternity. You go. Oh yeah, because it was almost a week ago now. The Dolphins actually really competed in this game. And I don't think the Dolphins season is actually like super duper over. You know, off to like a super bad start. Like, here's my prediction. This was my prediction for the game. But, I mean, you know, starting off with that complete annihilation that the Colts handed you, and then you lose to the Patriots in a game you should be winning. And then you lose to the Bills, which, I mean, the Bills was a reasonable one. You were probably expected to lose that anyways. You got to bounce back against the Jets this week. And the schedule, honestly, just doesn't get a whole lot easier from this point on. Dolphins got to find some form of, like defense, honestly, because the recurring trend with these games is they're all super high scoring. You know, the Dolphins were in this thing until, like, the fourth quarter. They went 2 through that interception. Dude jumped the route. And then the Bills tacked on a field goal, which helped out my fantasy because I picked up Matt Prater. And, yeah, they just lost the game. I mean, you know, this was their second best performance of the year. Or actually, I would say best performance of the year. They looked pretty good against the Bills. And, honestly, you know, with the way another game happened, I'll just say it. With the way the Lions-Ravens game has panned out, and now the Ravens are 1-2. Sorry for spoilers. I'm starting to look at the Bills, and maybe they're actually not the best team. You know, in the AFC, I'd honestly have to say the best-looking team right now is probably the damn Chargers. Like, you know, they're winning games against good teams, and they're just winning games. Like the Broncos, you know, should have beaten the Colts, should have handed them their only loss. Instead, that leverage penalty keeps the Colts' undefeated record alive. And, you know, the Chargers, Colts, do they play each other this year? Because I feel like that's kind of like the fight for the top spot. They do. They play each other on 10-19. That's like the fight for the top spot. The Colts could also be fighting for the top spot. But I don't know, bro. Like, the Bills barely squeak out a win against the Ravens. Ravens honestly don't look too pretty right now. But that's a story for another time, later in the video, perhaps. But the Bills, you know, they're still winning games. You know, that's all you can ask for. You've got the advantage on Patrick Mahomes. Maybe Patrick Mahomes will miss the playoffs entirely, and then Josh Allen can advance to the Super Bowl. Packers at Browns. I don't know if this is real or if this was just like a fake post or something, but it said they're launching an investigation on the Packers for, like, you know, Vegas problems. Apparently, like, a record $1.1 billion was placed on Packers money line, and obviously they lost. So they're launching an investigation on it to see if I really don't know if it's real or it could very well be fake. I just am noting that I saw it. But honestly, like, I wouldn't even be surprised because this was such a horrible upset. And I've been calling the Packers the best team for weeks, but that just got blown out the door. And like I said in my previous videos of NFL, Jordan Love is just dog shit. Like, he's honestly just not getting it done. People who put him in the top 10 quarterback conversation it's baloney. I mean, I understand the Browns have a pretty good defense. You know, probably actually, if I had to be honest, one of the best defenses in the league. You know, it doesn't help that the Ravens dropped a dookie on you. But, I mean, the Ravens scored 21 fourth-quarter points. Like, your defense is a damn good defense. And actually, They had a 63-yard fumble return, which made the score look worse. That's nothing the defense can do. And then, of course, the crazy one-handed catch from D-Hop. I'm just like, the Ravens or the Browns probably have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense. Maybe like behind the Packers or something, or in front of them, obviously, since they won. But I mean, when you look at Jordan Love, like, he's got some receiver issues right now with Jayden Reed being hurt. But you've got Matthew Golden, who, like, you're barely able to hit up half of the time. And you also have Josh Jacobs, who's a great receiving back, Tucker Kraft, who's kind of goated, Romeo Doubs, very underrated. The receiver room isn't the prettiest for the Packers, but it's definitely not bad by any means whatsoever. And you're only putting up 10 points, and you're also throwing an interception, and you're taking 5 sacks for 34 yards. I just don't think Jordan Love is the answer. I mean, just imagine if Aaron Rodgers had this football team. Prime Aaron Rodgers, or not even necessarily prime, just not old Aaron Rodgers had this team. It wouldn't be a question. It wouldn't be a question if the Packers are winning this shit. Like, nah, bro. I just don't think Jordan Love is a good quarterback, to be honest. There's been times, and I used to think he actually was a really good quarterback, but honestly, with the way he's been playing this year, like, the way the Packers are winning games, they're winning games because their defense is just dominant. I mean, their defense isn't letting the opponent score points. The Lions had 6 points going into a minute left in the game against the Packers. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't do anything offensively. The Packers defense was just shutting them down. The Commanders put on they had 10 points going into bottom 3 minutes left in the game, where they finally scored another touchdown, 2-point conversion. And then the Packers still held the Browns to 13 points. They have the highest amount of points they've allowed is 18, and the least is 13 in 3 games. And they get the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if they shut them down. Bengals, yeah, right. As long as they don't have Joe Burrow, like, it's going to keep on being ugly. And they're good because their defense is absolutely dominant, but their offense is not. It's just not getting it done. Let's be real. The Lions' defense is probably not the prettiest thing of all time. It's probably going to be improved, but not the prettiest thing of all time. 27 points. Commanders kind of actually look pretty good right now. So that was a good performance by the Packers, but that was Tucker Kraft domination. And then the Browns. I mean, the Browns have a really good defense, but you're putting up 10 fucking points? I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers finish off like 10-7. I know that's crazy to say after one loss, but seriously, if Jordan Love continues to struggle this much to move the ball offensively and to score any form of points, there's definitely like 6 more losses you can take. Like, there definitely is 6 more losses somewhere. And the fact that you lose to the Browns, are we really too crazy to rule out any loss? I mean, this is probably the worst team you can lose to, if not one of the worst. That's still a lot of teams you allow the possibility to beat you. It's not looking good for the Packers in my eyes. Maybe for the rest of the people, they're more optimistic than me, but this was a horrible loss for the Packers. Colts at Titans. Colts are dominant right now. They're just destroying people. This division looks really bad for me right now because I said the Titans and the Texans would make the playoffs, and I said the Colts would finish off 4-13? Yeah, that's not looking too good right now. Obviously, Daniel Jones was not the problem at the Giants. It was just the Giants, and he's looking really, really good right now. And like I've said in the past, there's no real all-star power at his receiving positions. Like Tyler Warren could be, he obviously is a rookie, so it's a little difficult to tell, but he could end up being like that all-star potential. But like Michael Pittman Jr., I think it's Alec Pierce. Michael Pittman has been like a decent fantasy option, but I just learned who Alec Pierce was. And obviously Jonathan Taylor is a running back, so I guess that is technically a receiver. But man, I mean, he doesn't have like the craziest amount of talent, and he's just absolutely slinging it. I will say, like, it's above average. It's above average, but it's just like, my goodness, I didn't expect him to be this good. Like, I knew he was going to do better at the Colts, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. I thought this team would be like competitive in a lot of games, but just not be able to win it because they've got more work to do. No, they're just dominant. And I mean, they should have lost that game to the Broncos, but they didn't. So when push comes to shove, that only helps you out getting to the playoffs. So Bengals at Vikings. Needeth I say more? I had the Bengals winning. They turned the ball over like 50 times, and the Vikings trounced them. Steelers at Patriots. I think the Patriots had 4 fumbles in this game, or 5. Either 4 or 5. I'm happy I picked the Steelers in this one because the Patriots are actually just the better football team here. And honestly, the Ravens division right now, you want to know something crazy, all right? Let me get a little crazy here. The Browns could make the playoffs. Hold on. Let me explain myself. The Browns could make the playoffs. Obviously, you pick up a huge win against the Packers. It's not a good start losing 2 conference games. That puts you at 0-2 in the conference. That definitely doesn't help. But Pittsburgh, 2-point win against the Jets and a 7-point win in a game which the Patriots had 5 turnovers. Or I think it was like 4 fumbles. Yeah, 4 fumbles and 1 interception, so 5 total turnovers. They got blown out by the Seahawks. The Vikings could handle the Steelers. The Browns could then beat the Steelers. And then the Steelers play the Bengals. But the Steelers play the Packers, Colts, Chargers, Bengals again, at Bears, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens. The Steelers could completely fall apart. The Bengals, they played the Broncos, Lions, the Packers. That's alone with Jake Browning. Good luck. Like, that's all there is to it. Good luck. And, that turns into, like, I feel like the Browns could maybe win their conference games and win against, like, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans. Like, they could win those games and find themselves, like, a playoff competing team. I know that sounds crazy, but there's actually, like, a world in where the Browns make the playoffs because I think they have a super dominant defense. Myles Garrett is absolutely insane, and Joe Flacco isn't playing too bad with what he has. Quinshon Judkins looks like he's got a lot of potential. And, yeah, it's not crazy to say that the Browns could maybe find themselves in a playoff spot. That would be crazy, but it's not crazy to say. Rams at Eagles. Talk about crazy. The Rams should have won this football game. They were up 26-7 in this game before they absolutely shut down and just let the Eagles, convert every 3rd and long or every 4th down, whatever. And then the fucking Eagles just decided, let's block 2 field goals. Yeah, the Eagles are playing like the Chiefs last year. Barely squeaking out game after game by very minimal points. They're tush-pushing every shot they get. And the Eagles are actually not as good as they seem. The Rams should have won this game. That's all there is to it. This is what we were saying all last year. The Chiefs will lose this game. The Chiefs will lose this game. The Chiefs will surely lose this game. And they somehow managed to win it. And that's kind of been the Eagles so far. So unless things start to go south for the Eagles and they stop winning close games, which I don't think will happen because there still is a load of talent on the team. But the thing is they're just playing like the Chiefs last year. And it's like, frauds? It gives me frauds. And is it crazy to say that? We all called the Chiefs frauds last year. We all agreed on that. But now it's like the Eagles are doing the same thing, and it's like nobody's calling them frauds. So I'll be the one to say it. Jets at Bucks. Really close game. Actually, like, surprisingly close. The Jets showed some real fight, and I really like their head coach. I hope they stick with this guy. He seems passionate. And, they lose it on a game-winning field goal by the Bucks. But, I mean, to be competitive in this game and to almost win it should show a lot for this team, that they're not just completely bad. They don't even have their starting quarterback in Justin Fields, and they almost won this game. And the Buccaneers are 3-0. They're one of the best teams in the league right now. Baker and Mika Ibuka, Mike Evans, their offense, Bucky Irvin, their offense is extremely, extremely high firepower. And the Bucs were winning this one pretty handily. But, you showed your adversity. You overcame adversity. You showed your strength. And you almost won this game. That should really be a motivation boost for the Jets moving forward. Raiders at Commanders. I said the Raiders would win this one. Marcus Mariota came to play. And it's kind of surprising how bad the Raiders have been. We knew they were going to be bad, but I didn't expect them to be this bad. Again, it's the Chargers and the Commanders. These are two expected games, but I feel like when you have the layup of, Jane Daniels getting hurt and Geno Smith, 289 yards, 19 for 29, 3 touchdowns, I just don't understand how they're not scoring more. 2 for 3 on fourth down efficiency and no turnovers. It's just they're not scoring more, and they're only 50 yards under the Commanders with, again, only one failed fourth down conversion. They converted 2 of their 3. So it's how is there not more points? I'm not too sure, but it must have just been unfortunate because ultimately you're losing by 17 points in a game that is super even. And even at that, the Commanders fumbled the ball. Oh, wait. Defensive special team touchdown. Is that a punt return to the house? Am I missing that somewhere? It doesn't say where the points were scored at all. Where the defensive points were scored. I'm not sure. I could sit here and look forever, but it's just tricking me right now. It's just tricking me. Oh, I guess the Commanders scored a touchdown at the very end to make it 41-24 because they got a short field by an onside kick, and the fourth down conversion was failed later in the game by the Raiders. But still, the Commanders were up big time in this game. What? I'm so confused, man. Okay, here it is. Punt return touchdown. I fucking found it. God. Yeah, I was why is it so hard to find this? There it is. Okay, so a punt return touchdown makes a lot more sense. Sorry for that stroke you were just listening to. I finally found that. I don't understand. It's ESPN makes billions of dollars and they can't just make their app accurate. Sure, guys, for sure. Falcons at Panthers. Whoa. That's all I have to say. Suddenly, that win the Cardinals have over the Panthers is looking a lot better because what the fuck, bro? What the F? What the fudge? Because the Falcons weren't even looking bad, if they had a kicker in week 1, they would have tied that thing, sent it to overtime with the Bucs. Then they kind of just handed one to the Vikings just to turn around and get absolutely destroyed by the Panthers. And the Falcons had more yards of offense than the Panthers. They turned the ball over 3 times to the Panthers 1 time. They failed 3 fourth down conversions. I can only assume that's probably because they were down by so many points. But it's okay, so they missed 2 field goals, so that's definitely gonna hurt. They threw a pick 6. Those 2 missed field goals really just beat them down. It looks like. And a lot of the failed fourth down conversions came later in the game. But yeah, they got absolutely destroyed. And to not even put up a point is crazy. Because Falcons didn't even look bad. God, every time I do a football video, the Falcons always look so weird. It's they're actually a football team. It's so weird to look at. But they lose. and they got destroyed. And honestly, the Panthers look like they could make some ripples in this conference because the Buccaneers are kind of scraping by. I think they are one of the most highly talented teams, but if the Panthers turn up, they could cause some problems. Texans at Jaguars. I said there was no way the Texans start off 0-3. They start off 0-3. And, when you're going to drive into opponent territory, Nico Collins is going to just absolutely fumble the ball. C.J. Stroud's going to throw an interception. And the Jaguars were giving you opportunity after opportunity, and your offense just can't capitalize. Yeah, you're going to see C.J. Stroud in an AI edit on your For You page all over the place because that's what I'm seeing. C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas Jr. or Brian Thomas or Brian Thompson. I don't remember. BTJ. He's all over the place right now. Those things are so damn funny. But the Texans start off 0-3. Cardinals at 49ers. I can't even go into detail on this. We got game tomorrow. That's all I'm looking forward to. The Cardinals 3rd and 9 drop. Marvin Harrison can't catch a ball. Cardinals should be winning this game, but they're just beating themselves down. There were 3 total touchdown drops. One of them was bailed out because of a pass interference that pretty much put them at the 1-yard line, and we scored on anyways. But Marvin Harrison dropped one behind the defense, would have been a touchdown. Amari DiMercado dropped one, and I at least would have been a first down, which we would have taken in, or he would have taken it in himself. Either way, he would have gotten down to the 1-yard line, but it hit him right in the hands, and he just dropped it and said we had to settle for a field goal. We would have won this game, but instead we're losing, and it's just a horrible loss. It's a horrible loss to take because you could be 3-0 right now, like I predicted, and you would be on top of your conference, which is a huge start, but no. Instead, you're not. Broncos at Chargers. Chargers down for – they started off 10-0 – or 10-0. 10-0. And then they let the Broncos come back and pretty much just own the lead for most of the time. But then at the very end of the game, Justin Herbert threw his ball sack on the Broncos defense, made an absolutely amazing touchdown pass, and then they walked him off with a game-winning field goal. Chargers look like one of the best teams in the league right now, if not the best team in the league. God, there's so many games left still. I don't even need to talk about this game. The Seahawks actually destroyed them. They actually dropped the shit on their face, bro. I don't even know what happened in this game, and I just didn't really care. But it was a good day for you if you had the Seahawks defense, because I think they got a lot of special teams. Oh, I think I actually went up against the Seahawks defense. It wasn't anything super crazy. But Kenneth Walker had a good night. 16 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns, I guess, if you're fantasy football. Jackson Smith-Njigba had a great game. He's starting to look really, really good, like one of the better receivers. And ultimately, they just destroyed him. That's all there is to it. They just destroyed him. Cowboys at Bears. I'm happy I picked the Bears in this one. This was actually a pretty good prediction because the Bears ended up dropping a dookie on their face. Caleb Williams looked really good in this game. I think he had 4 or 5 touchdowns. Can't remember. But he had his best game of his career by far. Absolutely dropped a shit on the Cowboys' face. More of a reason why I'm thinking that the Eagles are frauds is because the Cowboys should have beaten the Eagles. And the Cowboys have not looked good from that point on. Barely beating the Giants. The Giants should have honestly won that game. And then just getting absolutely trounced by the Bears, I don't know. It's not looking too good for the Cowboys or the Eagles. Chiefs at Giants. I'm so happy to see the publicity of Cam Scatterby, bro. All I want to do is see my boy succeed, and he's succeeding. And it makes a father proud, even though he has no damn idea who I am. I'm rooting for him every single day, and I'm so happy to see him succeed. It can bring a tear to my eye, especially since he's on my fantasy football team. 24 points from the dude was awesome. Now, Russell Wilson lost his starting job, and I'm excited to see Jackson Dart play. I feel like a lot of people are talking about that right now, and it does just suck to see Russell Wilson's career jumping from team to team to team, and it's just not working out. It just really sucks because he had such a good career with the Seahawks. And then he just starts moving team to team to team, and he looks like shit, getting booed on multiple different franchises. It sucks for the guy, and I feel bad for him, even though he was a Seahawk, and fuck the Seahawks. But the Chiefs take an easy win here over the Giants. It was expected. Lions at Ravens, last game of the week. Sorry I had to speed this one up. I'm super fucking tired. And the Lions actually pulled through and won this one. I had it reversed. I said the Lions were going to be the team where it's like they just can't beat the good teams. They lose close games against the good teams. Reverse. It looks like the Ravens are going to play into that part. The Broncos played into last year. They're just not able to really like compete. You know, like this was a competitive game, so that kind of contradicts my own sentence. But they just let it slip away, and I mean, this game was 38-24. You know, the Lions kind of just took it away. Aggressive play calling benefited the Lions and hurt the Ravens because the Ravens tried their own aggressive play calls and it didn't work. And they just don't look good right now. You know, they have a really good offense, but their defense is just it's just not good. They're playing to the Bengals. They're the new Bengals basically. And it doesn't look good for the Ravens. But that is our last game of the week. Sorry to speed that up. I'm really trying to get this video out so I can do my prediction video tomorrow. And yeah, unfortunately it deleted my video. But that is all for this one. Like and subscribe and comment always helps. That's all for me. Adios.